It's 2011 and I'm acting in an independent feature film. And we have a break for a day. So the girl that I'm acting with in the film, she comes up to me and says that she just got back auditioning for The Hobbit. And that there were a lot of guys in the audition room that looked like me, so I should go down and get an audition. So the girl had a much bigger agent than I had at the time, and actually, to be honest, my agents compared to hers were rather Hobbit-sized. So I give them a call and I say, hey, can you give me a read, please? And I wait for a call from them, and I get a call back from them saying, listen, unfortunately, they're not auditioning The Hobbit in Los Angeles right now. And that was that. But see, I had this information because the girl gave me the address of where it was happening. So I decide I'm going to go on an adventure. And I'm going to see what I can find out on my own. Now, standing here, you see a 5'7" man. A little guy. But truly, I come from a family of little people who have done some pretty great things in this world. My father grew up with rampant anti-Semitism, and he ended up being a trial attorney for the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division, and ended up, the cases that he worked for, ended up ending employment discrimination, racial discrimination, and actually 3 school systems statewide in Indiana, Texas, and Florida were ended through trials that he was part of. My mother grew up in similar circumstances, and she entered into the news television business, and at the time was very hard on women, and especially becoming a reporter, on-air reporter. She was a producer to start, but they kept telling her no. She wouldn't take no for an answer, and ended up becoming a reporter live on television. And before she left this earth, she won 3 Emmys, and the last one was the Ted Yates Award for journalism. So you have to think, getting an audition for The Hobbit doesn't sound like that big of a deal compared to that. So I jump into my truck and I drive to the audition. It was on the west side. And I get there and there's this big iron gate that's keeping me out of where I want to get into. And so it's not opening, except for cars. And I got out of my truck and I'm walking back up and down the sidewalk thinking to myself, how am I going to get into this place? And on 4th or 5th time walking back across the gate, it just starts opening. And there's no car coming in or out. So I think quick. And I put my cell phone to my ear like I'm having a really important conversation. And as I walk through the gate, the security guard leaves his booth. And he also has his cell phone to his ear. Like he's having a very important conversation. So we have this moment between each other, which is we're both having very important conversations. And I mouth to him the address that I'm looking for, and he sort of ushers me on, and I get to go through. And I make it to the front door. I walk inside, and there's a piece of paper says The Hobbit, and it's got a bunch of names written on the paper. It's the sign-in sheet, but I'm not quite ready to sign in, so I walk through the hallway, and I find the bathroom where I'm going to compose myself. And as I walk towards the bathroom, there's a door with a whole bunch of people inside working on motion capture, balls all over themselves, and I take note of that. I walk by, compose myself in the bathroom. On the way back, I stop at that door, and I knock on it. And a guy comes to the door and I say, excuse me, I'm here to audition for The Hobbit. Could you tell me where to go? And he very nicely walks me down the hall to where I just first came in with the sign-in paper. But halfway through, I wanted to be honest with him, and I was like, look, man, I don't want to get you in trouble. I don't have an audition for The Hobbit. But could you just tell me where to go? And he was like, right, that's the door right there. It was these 2 large glass doors, and he said, good fucking luck, and took off. So now I walk up to these 2 glass doors and I knock. And out from the doors walks this big ogre of a man, and he looks at me and just says, what do you want? And I say, oh, hello, my name is Rob Tepper. I wanted to come in and read for you guys if that's possible. And he says, excuse me? I said, oh, I would like to audition for The Hobbit. And he goes, how did you get in here? And I said, well, I walked through the gate. That's not how it works. And I said, no, fair enough. And with all due respect, all I want to do is have a chance. And if you would allow me to possibly come in, I'd love to read for you. And he says, no. And I say, okay, well, could you give me some sides so I could go home, put myself on tape, and then send it in so you guys could watch it? And he goes, yeah, that's fine. And I said, great, could I have the sides? And he goes, well, I can't give you any sides. They're all watermarked. I said, fair enough. where would I send it to when I put myself on tape and send it in? And he kind of stares at me. He's not giving me an answer. And behind him, in the back of the room, you hear, "Let him in!" I pretend to not hear what I heard because he's not moving or letting me in. So I kind of look at him and I'm like, what did she say? And he says, "I guess you're going in." So he moves and I walk in and I walk straight up to the desk. The casting director looks at me, straight in my eyes, and she says, "What do you want?" I say, "I would like to audition for The Hobbit." And she says, "Okay, this is my assistant. He's going to give you his email address. You go home, put yourself on tape, you email it to him, and I promise you I'll watch it." I said, "Thank you very much." Walked over to the assistant, got the email address, said thank you very much again, left, walked out into the parking lot, out to my truck. I got in my car and I started driving home. I tell you, I'm driving home and I feel bigger than I ever have in my entire life. And on that drive home, needless to say, I'm not in The Hobbit. But on that drive home, I realized something very important. I realized a lesson that I learned from my parents. And that is, people are really only small or little when they make things too big to conquer.